Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Forest City London Music Awards. And this is a module called the Pandemic Producer. My name is Darius Szczepaniak, and I am joined by producer Jeff Dalziel, artist Aaron Allen, and Leanne Mayer. And together, we're going to have a nice conversation about how COVID, this pandemic, has essentially changed how we produce and how production in this has survived, both with technology and discussing how the artist has now transitioned to perhaps the other side of the glass, perhaps changed how they have how they write songs, how they work, how they craft. And so I'd like to start this conversation by asking the question, how has this pandemic changed how you as a producer or artist are interacting with such artists and producers? Now, who would like to start with perhaps Jeff?
Okay, it's changed dramatically. At the same time, it hasn't seemed to really change at all, kind of, you know. And we've had preliminary talks about this on other panels and just us talking as friends. The biggest change for me is the trying to schedule vocals the way I like to do vocals. That's kind of really the thing. A lot of the artists that deal with there's not so much band over the last couple of years as it is solo artists. And so I can either use the players that they have already or players that I can pick from. And we've been doing the emailing the parts, we'll just say whatever, just so, they can record in their facilities and send me what they need. And that's sort of kind of status quo for me. It's been like that for almost 10 years. Like even back at Sony, when there wasn't the internet stuff, like we're still doing phone patch stuff. We're doing so we're so used to that.
Yeah.
But again, now, even having, like, I've done Aaron's singles, and for the first time ever, we had to go to another studio, and he's in that room over there, and I'm in this room, and I kind of fucking hated it, So at the same time, we still got together to create. It was still good, and it turned out great, but I kind of missed that, him standing here with me, and like I like that, So, but for the most part, we're still getting to the finish line, and but I still try to do everything I can to get in the same location as the singer. That to me, I think, is where my production skills shine more than anything. Then, so that's pretty much a very long answer to a very well, it's a pretty complex question, but does that kind of spell it out?
No, it's excellent. It starts the ball rolling in that all of us, I guess, in this chat group, and maybe artists who are joining us now, understand and take for granted the togetherness of the recording and production process, where we show up and we congregate together in a studio, in a room of some sort, and make music. And this pandemic has kind of ripped that away from us, where the whole idea of isolation is mandated by the top tiers of government. And so we're following suit in order to be safe in this pandemic and not get sick, which is the whole purpose to this. Again, I don't want to get onto a medical conversation, but the fact that we are forced to segregate into our own little bubbles has changed how we interact. The willingness to interact hasn't changed, right? We all want to congregate. We all want to get together. We want to make music together. However, it's not possible. And so what we've taken for granted over the years about getting together and having those high fives and the shoulder to shoulder and things like that, where
like what? Leanne, what was that?
The old.
Right. Right. So the idea of camaraderie, of togetherness, is now all of a sudden, well, it's vaporized for a lot of us. And so,
Two things to add. I'm sorry this worked out this way, but it kind of looks like the Aaron Allen show with my Aaron Allen, and then he's got his and this banner.
I regret not bringing my logo.
Yeah,
right. Sorry, I'm just trying to see the message where, like, I haven't got a FedEx message for my hat yet. Sorry, I'm still looking at the FedEx tracker, and it's just nothing there. So,
a real life example. When Ford announced that studios can open,
yes,
and I actually, the labels will remain nameless, but I actually got emails from management agents going, okay, so when can we get the vocals done? I'm like, I record them in my fucking house. Like, I'm not a studio. And so it was that push to let's go. And at that point, I'm like, okay, well, even though I have invested all this time and money into the facilities to do things properly, now I had to go and spend money outside.
Yeah.
To do just to get the job done, because now we're supposed to be able to get it done, which is fine. I didn't mind giving the studio owners a good friend, and it's like, that's fine. But it still didn't facilitate being together. Like, we take a break and Aaron's sitting on the other side of the room eating his sandwich, and I'm over there, and it's like, okay, good job. And then we kind of have to walk around each other, and it was awkward, but still at the end of the day, he's super talented. So it didn't matter. It was really good. So, but still, it's like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and we've talked about it before. It's like every vocal session I have is way longer than it needs to be, because again, I just want to create a place where we're just kind of chilling for the whole day. It's a day thing for me, even if it's a song, because, and of course that can be more expensive at studios too. So, but we've done everything. I've done everything I can to facilitate getting to the finish line throughout this. And because of the technology, it's actually easier than most people would think. It's not that bad, but it does take away that camaraderie. You know, just watching a YouTube video together just to break the monotony is sometimes all we need to get the singer out of their head, because they can't remember the melody that I just changed. I don't know who we're talking about. Is that
yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm not good with that. That's for sure.
Well, every singer's like that. So you got to have the moments to break and do your thing, and also thinking on the spot too. It's like if I got Dan doing vocals out west, Dan Davidson, I can't instantly get inspired by and say, oh, what if you sing it this way? Yeah. And so it's the minutia that can get lost in that. It's not that what I'm going to get is bad, but I can't tweak it to make it even better, or at least mistakes to get back to what it should be, or get to where it should be. So if anything, there's little bits and pieces that that are being stolen from me as a producer and from the vocalist, because we can't be together. Mm-hmm. So other than that,
would perhaps Aaron or Leanne, would you like to pipe in on experiences with regards to recording, production?
Like, as far as pre-COVID, I totally agree with what everybody's saying. There's a sense of camaraderie, and you create memories and like lifelong friendships, really, because it's such a personal thing, and you're so vulnerable in a recording session, you know, playing songs that you've written in front of people and getting feedback and collaborating. You really do build a trust, and it is harder on video. It's not impossible, but it's just different. I'm in the place right now where I'm not really recording, I'm writing. So I've been using technology to do, you know, the first stage of demoing songs and then sharing it with the band or other people that I respect to get feedback that way. Right. And it's been helpful, definitely better than, you know, sitting by yourself in a bubble, for sure. Technology has been great.
Aaron?
Yeah, and I'll say, you know, obviously Jeff and I worked together. He pretty much told most of the story of the studio scenario, and it's great that I already know Jeff, and we've already done. I think that was like our 8th single. So, you know, I know he's my buddy. We have that trust. But if I was going into him first hand right when COVID started or during any of this, maybe I wouldn't go back to him. I don't know. We might not have the same camaraderie. Maybe it probably wouldn't have went the same, right? But I know him very well. I trust him. So it's there. So COVID's not going to get in our way, but I can see how somebody coming straight out of the gates, it might be a little off-putting, or it might be a little bit weird.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I was going to say that I'm lucky enough that going into COVID and still being part of it, most of the work I'm working on is repeat customers. And so there's already that trust level. There's a few that are new, but fortunately it worked out great. And I got to work with them before the shutdown and they were new, but I haven't started anything really brand new during this. So we've had some time together talking and so on and so forth. So that does help. So I don't know what it would be like if it's all of a sudden a new artist tomorrow. It's like if Leanne's calls me, hey, I want you to produce a song. Now we're starting off already behind the 8 ball because I can't spend that time with her. So to create that trust that I'm going to need from the artist.
Yeah, there's something to say about our environments. I notice this all the time in this, our Zoom era, I call it, of technology, and that we're, as human beings, always very much aware of our surroundings. Like, I can see everybody's surroundings, and everybody's surrounding is a little bit differently, but we end up with distractions. Like if I look beyond the screen, I can see I'm not with you.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody walks outside of my studio, I can hear them, and they knock. It's distraction. It's like the whole idea of production and recording from my background, being in the studio, that's an immersion. It's kind of like us having a pool party in our individual pools here. Well, we can't splash each other and throw each other in the pools, and I can't, get water into your drink by doing a cannonball next to you. There's that's missing from all of this for me. That's what I call the high five moment, is that I can turn to you at the screen and say, what do you think of that part? And I have done that, and I'll talk more about that later, but I'm used to going like, hey, what do you think?
Yeah.
And I can't do that anymore. Yeah. Right? So that part of it is like, we're used to going to studios with let's say History or Tapestry or Vibe or Mojo, right? Like, and now I'm not. I'm in front of my laptop looking at you with your beautiful backgrounds.
Well, one of the things I do to maybe kind of close the gap a bit is first of all, I hate texting, number one.
Right.
More apt to call you, but I've called my artists more than usual these days, just to call and say, how are you doing? Like, what's going on? And it's sort of like
exactly
human level so then when we get to work again, it's that memory of like, okay, well, this person actually gives a shit about me. And so, and it's not just about music, it's about humanity. And so I have made more phone calls out of the blue. Even I just text them, hey, Leanne, what are you doing? Got a sec? Got a moment to chat? And Aaron, I think you can back me up on that one. So it's like,
oh yeah,
talk for like an hour on the phone. I think it's important. They're my clients, they're my friends, and they need to know that I actually care. So that has helped, I think, for what it's worth, because I've got artists right across Canada, so it's like it's not easy to get together normally. So, but I do want to take the time to connect as much as possible. Not even just the artists, but the musicians that I hire and the people that I ask to play on things. I still just check in as a human. They grab a cigar and we'll talk and that kind of thing. So
yeah. So look, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Without the award shows, it's like sometimes we only see those, even though we work with these people weekly, monthly, sometimes because we do everything remotely, we only see them at the award shows.
Yeah.
And now we can't even see them for that. It's like these 3 times a year, now we can't even see them there. So there's even more of a disconnection between the industry, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's amazing how we think we're more connected because of technology, but how absolutely separated we are. I mean, that's the biggest joke about Facebook. I have like 5,000 friends, but I don't know any of them.
Right. Well, in this situation, though, I don't have to wear pants, so it's cool.
Right.
Yeah. Winning.
Right.
We all know I'm wearing pants because I set the camera up wrong and had to move it around.
What? We were supposed to wear colored boxers. Okay, so I'm going to flip this nickel right now. I'm going to say, okay, let's talk about some positives that have emerged from this.
Okay.
I'll start the ball rolling by saying that the first thing that I found hilarious or positive in this whole thing, and that is that in the more things change, the more things stay the same. In that musicians are still making music. As a matter of fact, there's more music being made right now than ever before, or forget that, than before COVID. I think by being stuck and doing nothing, I think if you're a musician, you pick up that dusty guitar and you go, I'm going to write a song.
Yeah.
Speaking personally, I'm a bass player, and I've played on a bunch of songs by people just because I'm like, hey, D, you doing anything? Not really. Going crazy, watching my family walk around me. Yeah, I'll play bass on your record. And so we're making more music. Now, where am I taking this? From a music industry standpoint, when you have the music piling up, it has to go somewhere, and then all of a sudden there's open floodgates to the professionals who are, recording or mixing, so on and so forth. And so the positive here is, as the music's piling up, now the work is piling up for guys like me who, and Jeff, that's potentially the work is there. The question is, how do we actually get that done? And so I think that that's a positive about making music.
Absolutely. You
Yeah.
get busy with just going from show to show, right? So I know for me, I do music part-time. So in the busy season, I'm writing less because you've got a few gigs a week sometime and a day job, right? So there's not a lot of time to write. So this kind of gave me more opportunity because at night I had that time to sit down and write.
Right.
Mhm.
No, that's an excellent point. It's as a touring musician, stopping to write the next hit is like, when do I sleep? Do I, Aaron, any thoughts?
Well, like we were discussing yesterday, and I do feel bad for saying this, but during COVID, things have kind of gotten better for me musically. Um, I think as a musician, you have to wear so many hats now. So it's the live show, it's the writing, it's getting in there and doing the music. So for me, I was lucky enough to grow in a forum songwriting during COVID. I got signed to Arts and Crafts Publishing.
Cool.
So that's something that I can just do over the computer. I have met up in person a couple times, but because you have to be so, I don't know, you have to have your hand everywhere just to make it, right? You got to be over here, over there. I'm able to go, okay, this is what I'm focusing on right now. And this is where I can make my money at right now. So this is what I'm going to do. We continue to make music and stuff, but the live shows, they're almost off the map. So, okay, now let's just attack this area. So that's what I've been doing. So it's been good in that respect. But yeah, the live show thing is the only thing where I think I've truly, really been affected, but everything else is still going on, right? And of course, I'd like to play live, but I think we all need to find out how to keep making money in this in this pandemic. And I was actually able to quit my job during COVID, and now I'm just doing music full time. So for me, that area has really worked out well. But
So I think the silver lining, so Aaron doesn't forget to say it, is that the pandemic taught or made everybody be a little more technologically savvy. I can't even talk. Tech savvy. So that Aaron can now have really good solid co-writes. It's not shitty phone like Zooms, like people are set up much better. So it sort of opens up the borders a little easier. There's writers that maybe might not have worked with Aaron, but now because it's so easy and it's for scheduling reasons, it's easier for people to get into better co-write situations. The other more selfish one for me is the silver line. That's going to sound awful, and I don't mean it to, is that, more people have bought technology so they can make music at home. And doing that has realized it's not as fucking easy as they think it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's really is. It's like, wow, maybe I do need Jeff or Darius or whoever the case to help them navigate through the garbage so they can get back to creating. So, and I've seen what, even earlier on in technology as it advanced. On the last panel, I talked about this, like artists got bitten by that bug and they got so involved in it that their level of writing and creativity suffered because they were they were looking for the tool. They're using the tool to find the answer rather than this and hearing it internally and then using the tools. So it's nice because it's teaching lessons that I can't teach artists. Like they just go, okay, it's not that easy, So it's like I have several artists that are producing stuff, and I certainly promote that. I love that. I feel like I've helped them, and now they're calling me going, geez, man, I just did this drum session. It's like, wow, that was tough. I'm like, yeah, well, welcome to my world. So it's not like
Right.
it's like all roses. And I think that's going to change. Not that I've had any disrespectful artists, but even to have, I can't remember. There's one artist, I won't tell you who it was. We're doing a co-write finally outside of her record. And the person we were writing was very, very difficult. And then I kind of maybe flipped out a little bit. I didn't flip out. I just said, I don't need to do this. I'm going home. And I said, okay, I'll just take a break. And then she came down and she goes, was I ever like that? And I'm like, mm-hmm. She's like, I'm so sorry. Like, because in the moment, the guy wasn't a dick. It was just in the moment, didn't really understand how the collaboration thing worked. And her just witnessing that once changed her entire focus when it came to co-writing. So this is kind of maybe a bit nice to see that, okay, well, I'm not saying they can't do it, but it can be difficult. It can be expensive. And that might actually get them to respect you and me and other producers and engineers a bit better. Not that they weren't, but I'm just saying it brings us closer together, basically.
I agree. That the whole adage, walk a mile in my shoes. Yep. And I mean, an adage like that is usually meant to allow somebody to understand my viewpoint, understand where I'm coming from. And it's usually about some sort of strife. Let's just face facts. Us working in the music industry, it's not really a job filled with strife. However, the whole idea of this, what this is forming, I believe, is empathy for what we do. And Jeff, you hit the nail on the head in that artists they really don't know what we do. When I'm mixing a song, they see me pushing buttons and moving faders and stuff like this and turning equipment, and then they think, because we make it look easy, they think it's easy. And then when they try to do it themselves, this pandemic has forced that upon them. They're trying to self-produce, self-record, self-mix. They're finding.
I want them to do that. And I'll get back to that. Why? But go on.
Yeah, sorry. No. They do that, and they realize, oh my God, this is not as easy as opening up a YouTube video and saying, produce like this, record like this. And so that opens up dialogue to, I get a lot of phone calls from like random people that say, hey, can you help me use Pro Tools? Can you help me do this? Can you help me do that? And it's kind of like, yes, I can. And and the instant bond by respect is born, because it's like, you get what I do. And because you get what I do, I'm going to show you how easy it is to push you, to make you better. And then I think more bonds have been created that way just because of that.
Let me add to that and then walk it back with these guys. The other benefit of Aaron investing or Leanne investing in gear and getting at least their feet wet. I've always been a promoter of that. And most of the time artists are like, nah, I don't have a fucking time. They don't want to spend the money. Now they've had to do it.
Yeah.
And I always wanted that because I want Aaron to go, hey, I got the song idea. And now he's going to be speaking to me in music. And I can listen to that and go, okay, I think I know what you're trying. I get what you want. That's garbage. It's shitty, but I know what you want. And so it's right. We're not talking. he's talking in musical colors and palettes that may or may not be the best, but at least we're closer to
Yeah.
understanding each other, or me understanding the artist. So I've always been a promoter of like, demo up your stuff for me. It's great.
Yeah.
But I don't care what other people think. I care what you as the artist thinks. And I don't care if the demo is amazing. It's just like, oh, that's the kind of drum group you, okay, I hear that. What if I do it like this? And then Aaron's like, oh, yeah, that's what I was trying to get. So it's a great tool that's there for us to communicate as a team that most artists didn't want to even do. But now they've been forced to do it. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
You guys walk that back. You guys talk, artists. Go talk.
Well, I would say too, as much as the pandemic pushes this on the artists, you know, I don't want to say something out of line or anything, but I mean, the industry dictates that we do this as well. Because, you know, when I was signing the deal with Arts and Crafts, they were like, well, you can demo up your stuff too, right? You got a whole rig and you can do all that, right? And I'm like, well, no, not really. Is that part of the deal? Should I be able to do that? And, you know, and that's okay. But I mean, so many people do it now. But, you know, I used to be a tattoo artist. You don't want to go to a tattoo artist who does it half of the day, that are part-time. You guys do this full-time. And what's my objective? My objective is not to be a producer. That's why we need to continue to hire you guys. It's not a full-time job. My full-time job is to try to be a musician. I have other things to do. Like Jeff says, so my level of where I'm going to get to, you know, producing a little demo, it's never going to be a radio quality thing. It's just, this is what I need to use.
It might one day, and I'd be the first person to push you to do
For sure you would. Definitely.
Like, you should take some clients on. I've done that with Dan. I've done it with lots of people. So anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, definitely. That's about all I had to say, is just like, you know, your guys' value, this is your full-time job. Where do you want to be as a musician? You know, how far can I stretch myself here?
Yeah, I agree with Aaron. For me too, it's just about being more organized. And I feel like when I do go into the studio, I'll be way more prepared.
That's true.
Because of the prep work that I had to do myself, like, painfully.
No, that's a good point.
It's not easy. That's why we hire you guys.
Takes a lot of time.
Right.
Oh gosh, tedious. I don't have the patience for that.
That's why these guys never sleep. Like, you guys do 18 hours a day.
Yeah, because they can't. They can't.
I'm actually 23. So
Yeah.
I'm sure you hear that song like over and over and over, and that like drives you mad. You can't sleep because of that either. I know for me, I hear it until I'm done with the song. Like, it drives me crazy until I get it out the way I want it on that demo.
Right. Yeah, no, it's definitely a lot of obsession happening in our industry for sure. Okay, so let's continue down the idea of technology. And I'm going to open this conversation with something that Jeff alluded to earlier on in this panel, is that we've been doing this for years. Phone patch is something that was developed a long time ago in order to communicate from studio to studio. We use that primarily in voice work. The film industry, the television broadcast industry have been doing remote and satellite broadcast for generations now. And I have a technical background, you know, as an audio engineer. And so we've been using tools in order to work remotely for a long time. I have clients out in, you know, everywhere in, you know, United States, Europe, Africa, and we're working remotely. I've been, you know, via Skype conversations. I think I can't remember who I was telling, but it was I did a mix for somebody in the Czech Republic a little while back. This is before COVID, and they were in the studio listening to something I was streaming across, you know, across the ocean, and I'm sitting here in my control room, and they're sitting there in their control room. I could have emailed them the mix. They could have given me some notes. I could have done that and send them back another mix, but they wanted to tweak the mix in real time. So with a Skype connection, Source Connect connection, and a little bit of patience because of the delay, I would stream that mix directly into the control room of their studio that they had rented out for the day. And they would listen to the mix. They would send me, Darius, could you turn the snare up a little bit? Yeah, I could turn that snare up a little bit. Cool. How about the guitars? Can you add some more top end to those guitars? Yes, I could turn some good, you know, and they're like, perfect. Send us that mix. And so there was still like that technology hasn't just been born on the same day, you know, we have a pandemic. It seems to have not evolved. It seems to have like come to the foreground because of necessity.
Yeah.
So my biggest observation is that there are some people in the industry that are saying, well, no, we're shut down, we're not doing anything. And some people are saying, no, I got to keep moving, right? And so we use the technology in order to keep moving. Is it cumbersome? Yes. Is it problematic? Yes. I sat in on an AES meeting where we were talking about tracking IT packets, internet packets, with GPS coders in order to create synchronization between computer systems. And I'm like, I don't know if we should be having that conversation about GPS trackers on packets so that everybody's internet is connected. But this is the type of technology that's happening in the background, right? This is the Star Wars that's happening in the background, allowing us to.
Darth.
Sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, Darth Vader. Sorry.
Right. So, so I wanted to discuss this a little bit. How many of you discovered remote technology when the pandemic hit, and how many found knew about it, but then didn't really give it a thought until it's like, yeah, I got to use this.
Well, I had already been writing over Zoom, Skype, stuff like that, but now I predominantly do it. And now it's not much different than sitting in the room with a person. I mean, it's cool when you get that feeling there and yeah, oh man, that line's awesome. But for me, there's not much lost in translation over songwriting. As far as the other technology, I'm trying to learn to record and stuff, but it hasn't changed too much. I think maybe I might be able to save myself some trips to Nashville, though, if when it comes back up, if people are still willing to rate over Skype and stuff like that, because there are a lot of, I have people that don't like rating on the computer, that they don't. So I get that, but yeah, so sometimes you still have to make the trips, but I'm interested to see how we marry the technology with the way that we used to do things after this.
Okay. Leanne, do you have anything to add?
I kind of write alone for the most part, so I haven't been using that kind of technology, but I have been sending like clips and notes of my songs that I've recorded through an interface to like bandmates or people that I trust, and they'd say like, well, what if you try this or something like that. But I haven't done any songwriting sessions with the technology. I want to. I want to move towards that for sure. I've done some collaborations too, more with other artists, where they would do a file in a video, they would send it to me, and then I would record my part over it, and then somebody would mix them. Some would had like a bunch of artists. Aaron, you were in the one too. I think we were both in the different version of it though, that Lost Together one. There was a few different ones going around. So I did that, but it wasn't, none of it was real time.
No?
No.
Okay. All right. So, Jeff, how much of this collaboration have you done remotely?
Well, I think it's, like I said, it's just a main part of my job every day for the last 10, 20 years. Like, so,
Right.
like I said, I always communicate. So if I'm hiring somebody to play bass, here's some examples, here's the song, let's have a talk, blah, blah, blah. And they do their thing. And I'm hiring them because they think like they think, and I want that particular person on it. So most of my job as a producer is staying out of the way of the people that are capable. And so, like I said, the creation of the track has not suffered. Again, it's the vocal thing. And so I'm still kind of fighting it. Like people go, well, use audio movers and we'll talk about that. Or this and that. We can real time do vocals. Aaron could be at home and I could be on scale. It's still, I'm going to fight it. I can choose not to fight it and do it because I know Aaron and I know Dan and I know Nice Horse and I know all my artists. Like if I'm on Zoom with them, I could do like a normal vocal session and I'm sure it would be fine. But there's still, it's about, hey, let's take a break and let's go eat some dinner. And just like, it's going to change the mood. So, but I've done vocals like I've had, there was one particular washboard single because of touring schedules and my schedule. I couldn't fly to Vancouver, so I hired an engineer that I really respect in a great studio. I sent the guides. I got online with them as they were doing vocals, and at some point I'm like, "You guys got this. Do your thing," and I got the files back, and it was fine. So it is artist dependent.
Yeah.
But again, everything changes if it's somebody brand new. I don't know how I'm going to deal with that, and I'm trying to think of how to deal with that. It's because it might go on longer than we think. So some of my artists that I might work with 2 months from now, I've never met ever. And it's gonna suck. I'm not gonna lie. In terms of the technology, absolutely. It's a cakewalk now to do any kind of recording. It's just, that's the humanity part I'm gonna miss the most. And if I have to deal with it, we'll get around it for sure. So it's not stop. I look at music. I always say, and people laugh, we can always rely on the ego of the artist. They're not going to stop making music, and we're not going to stop making music because we're just as bad. Yeah. So we're like fucking weeds in the concrete. We'll find a way. We always do. So just imagine, that's it. Think of a sidewalk, pure concrete, and there's that one weed. Well, that's all you fuckers on here. That's us. We've all been bitten by this fucking thing, and we can't not do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can drag me kicking and screaming, but I'll still do it. It's fine. We'll figure out it. Aaron, you want to do all your vocals on the next song? Let's see how it works out. I don't give a shit. Let's try it.
No, I don't want to do that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm coming down. Well, we might have to. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully not.
Well, let's hope that there isn't a second wave like they're proposing, and hopefully we can continue to work.
That's what I was getting at. Regardless of me being negative about it, the technology is there. We don't have to stop.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out the gear to get me stuff or to get Darius stuff, whatever producer you're working with. And you mentioned YouTube video. Well, there's lots of YouTube videos to figure out how to get the basics done, which is really all Darius and I or any producer needs from you. I just need you to sing your vocals. And I need you to be able to be fluid in giving me multiple takes and sending me. So you just need to open your thing, record the thing, set the levels properly, get the right microphones. This is also a commercial not only for Aaron Allen, but Warm Microphones, if you can see, sponsored by.
Oh, it's mad. And their mirror image in my screen here. It's hilarious.
Yeah. It's a great mic.
Like overheads.
I'll take 3.
Yeah.
Sorry, I lost track.
It's coming with the Aaron Allen hat. It's on.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, with very minimal kind of cash, the phone, to go back to it, the phone patching hardware, you don't even want to know how much that stuff cost.
That was thousands.
So now it's
really?
It's so inexpensive to have Aaron, look, he's singing it like he's talking into the microphone. That's the microphone we record his vocals on, because that just sort of fits for his voice. And so he's got the same thing now. He's got the same hardware. So we're already set up to do it. We're still not doing it because we want to be together, but we could do it if we have to. And so if you've got a production team, figure out a way to mirror whatever they have for your vocal chain, if you're the singer rather, and then instantly you guys could be passing things back and forth. And it's like you recorded it here,
right?
Just missing that. And then it's like, okay, Leanne, I loved what you did in every verse. Try this and this. So it slows the process down, but it could still happen.
Yeah, for sure.
We can, lessen the amount of difference between my house and your house. That's your responsibility as an artist. My responsibility is to collect and make it work. If you're serious about your art, go to Long and McQuaid, buy the microphone your producer tells you to, buy the mic pre they tell you to do, and you're back and making music.
Right.
They'll tell you how to set it up and where to set it up. So it's, if they know what they're talking about, so to lessen the issues, that I can put this on a master recording. It's the tools are there. Don't run away from it. If you're a serious artist, you should be talking to your production team, find out what you need, so the next song we can get right back to it.
Excellent point, Jeff. And I'm going to use that to transition to our next module, and that is, let's discuss the actual technology that's available and methods that we can use in order to facilitate recordings and productions. So we've heard of software, if you haven't, but Source Connect is a huge name in utilizing internet connections and audio equipment connection. And so they seem to be one of the top level brands in the business right now, and then that they have the most stable connections, the most the best code, the best software available. But it's not easy to get into that. We're talking about $1,000 to get a license for something like that. It could be out of the reach of some people. If you want to know how Source Connect works, you can go to a YouTube video and just Google Source Connect, and they have some really amazing tutorials and examples of how they were doing. There was one video in particular when they were showing that in NAMM, where they had an artist in Nashville, they were in LA, and they were doing a vocal session flawlessly. 2 Skype videos, and it was in real time. And it was the connection, the technology is amazing, but costly. What does an artist need to know when it comes to putting something like that together? Well, do you need to have your own home studio? No, that can be easily created, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit. But you need a good, strong internet connection. So where this stuff fails is if you are in an area that doesn't have good internet, right? I'm in Toronto. I take full advantage of that. We have really good internet here. But if I'm dealing with somebody, let's say in Northern Ontario, they may not have great internet. And so there are pitfalls there. A company like Source Connect has equipment or can put together equipment for you that will allow you to reinforce that connectivity. So artists now, I believe, have to be a little bit more IT savvy, as do engineers, and I believe as do producers. We can't run away from the blue and red cables that hook up our internet anymore. They're part of, XLR, AES cables, and now IT cables are part of my repertoire. So Source Connect is a really good way of connecting 2 audio components remotely via internet protocol.
Yeah.
Has anybody used Source Connect in the panel?
No.
No?
Well, here's, I'll say why I haven't. Again, I can only speak in my experiences. Like I said, all the artists that I'm working with currently are continuing clients.
Right.
So I don't need to have that real-time thing.
Okay.
Artists have to go, Aaron, here's the song. Give me 20 passes. Send it back. That's fine. It doesn't have to be real time because he knows I'm going to talk to him in the studio. Like I said, the small things I can still address even after he sends me the whole thing. So direct connect doesn't always have to be part of the equation, which I'm moving that ball down to what you're going to get to is just cheaper alternatives. And it doesn't have to be direct. And if you want that, it's still going to be pretty expensive. So we're all going to deal with a little bit of delay, a little bit of interference from Wi-Fi or whatever the case. But really, I like setting up to the point where here's the packet of audio, do your thing and send me back whatever you got.
Right.
It works, especially if you have the relationship already. That can be fantastic. I've got lots of friends that are producing, doing the same thing. It's like, yeah, just do it. See, and then we'll just fix it as we go. What's the rush, right? We're going to make something forever. So it just slows it down a tiny bit, but continue. Sorry.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. It's all good. That's a good point. Those are because it brings us, it will slowly whittle this down to what the lowest common denominator is, and that is which function to use in order to facilitate your recording and your styles and the human connection. And so continuing after Source Connect, we have something called Audio Movers, another company that has created a plugin that is becoming more favorable and popular. It's cheaper. And let's just face it. I mean, we've all heard the war between Betamax and VHS and why VHS won. It was just cheaper. It was not, and I'm not disrespecting Audio Movers by any means, but it's just they have made something that is similar, more affordable. And when you're dealing with people who are dealing with in a pandemic, maybe they don't have the money. Maybe they're not using CERB to finance their studio. I don't know. A plugin for $99 as opposed to $799 American is much more attractive. Again, we're talking about utilizing real-time recording. So for those of us who are struggling to have the real-time, recreate the traditional recording process. So if we're recording, you're on one side of the glass and I'm on this side of the glass, when I hit the space bar and hit record and you sing, it's all happening in real time, and I'm used to that kind of stuff. And as the artists are, and so the technology like Source Connect and Audio Movers is trying to recreate that, is trying to emulate that sense of it's happening right now. So I'll hit my space bar and you'll start singing right now, and it's coming into my computer right now. Well, 7.5 seconds later, but right now. And so that software is available for those who actually require the immediate sound. I know some people who are working in the not broadcast, but in more commercial settings. Like, I'm a music guy. And so my immediate is not that immediate, which I think what Jeff is alluding to. But for somebody who's needing, let's say, the voiceover for a Coca-Cola commercial, and they have a bunch of people there, and so get that voice piped in. That's the whole idea, right? Ching. Maybe that's where subliminally I got that. So the idea of having somebody weigh in on that and tracking that voiceover has made things like Source Connect and Audio Movers viable during this pandemic, because simply they still have a traditional workforce vetting those performances on the other side. In instances where I said, where I was streaming a mix directly to Europe for tweaks, I've done that during the pandemic as well. We've been, we get the job done right there and then. And so that is really cool. But besides, so anybody that needs instant communication and instant streaming, the technology exists. We just have to make sure that we have viable internet connections and a little bit of patience with it, because it's not perfect, right?
I've already used the Audio Movers a few times. I use it and not to capture. Again, because I don't have to, because the most of the artists I'm dealing with are not all just do their thing. But I do it now to quickly send. How it works out there, everybody, is like I can just put the plugin on my master fader on Pro Tools, and I just send Aaron Allen a link, and he logs in, and I hit play, and he's hearing my mix live.
Yep. So
he can go, hey, can you turn up the guitar? It's not even for that. I've been using it more like, hey, check it out, guys. What do you think? And it's like, oh my God. Because we'll deal with stuff later. It's just for you to have a good time to hear it.
Yep.
And it's fun because it's the first time I've been able to go, here you go. You can hear it once. Done. Okay. You can hear it one more time. Okay. Done. And we'll deal with it later, because it's been, and it really did helped on the last job I did, because if they'd not heard it until it was done, they might have had, because then they can go home and listen to it over and 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 pick it apart.
Totally.
Once they got to hear it, they're like, oh my God, that sounds amazing. Oh, I can't wait to get here to sing it. And they sing it. It's like, oh, I love it. And then they go home and they hear the mix and they go, this is exactly what we wanted. So
Yeah.
it's helped me be connected a little bit more, because normally they'd be here.
Yep.
Because they could play it from there. We got all excited. I just wanted to give them that little taste, but not sit with something that's not finished. So I'm bringing little things back into the process, which helps a lot. So audio movers, if you don't have it, producers, get it. Because, getting real-time recordings from outside players or even the vocalist at home, if you set, whoever's personally and whoever you set her up, make sure she's got what you got. You can rent this stuff, for Christ's sakes. You don't even need to buy it. Just so to get through a couple of weeks of recording, just get set up, know how to use it, and you're making music. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, Darius.
No, of course. Add when you want. Aaron, are you raising your hand or?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, from a musician's perspective, how cool is it that you can pick some of your favorite players, or you can pick your favorite producer, and they're across the world. Like,
one day Aaron will find who that is.
Oh, I already found him. But I mean, like, that's the thing, Jeff. You and I have talked about it before. People in these positions, producers, back in the old days, you weren't able to reach you guys.
Hey, old days.
Not the old days, but like back the way they used to do it, big label stuff, we weren't able to reach you guys. And trust me, I don't want to age myself, but I was part of that. So now you're coming closer to us, and you're working with people all over the world, Darius, which is amazing. And they come to you because they love what you do.
It's crazy, isn't it?
That's insane. And it just gives us as musicians way more options, right?
Yeah.
And we have to decide where we want to spend our money, obviously, and how we want to do it. Do we want to fly to Darius or to Jeff, or do we want to do this remotely? But it's giving us way more options, and I think that's pretty cool. I still love Jeff. Even if we had the software, I would always still drive down to Jeff's house. But if he was halfway across the world, then that'd be a different story.
Oh, I forgot to tell you we moved. This is a totally different house.
Man,
we live in so.
You took the fireplace with you, though.
Yeah. I'm so rich. We just picked the house up and went to Sweden.
Yeah.
It's actually, they put the house inside his private jet.
Nice.
In my jet. Right.
There we go.
Okay, so let's move the conversation to non-instant internet work, and that's collaborative software. Sorry, actually, I digress. I'm going to plug something now. Not that I'm not endorsed by them at all, but I had I had a conversation with a producer out there, Michael Philip Olajewowicz. I don't know if you know him. He's a top-notch guy. Google him. He's amazing and a really good human being. And he was demonstrating and talking about during an AES meeting about how he's using Cubase in doing remotely, and that I feel almost obligated to say to all Cubase users.
It's our Logic.
Thought it was Cubase.
I think you might be right. Cubase. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, that the remote methods are built into the software. That it's always been hidden in a menu, and that people who are using this software are already ready to go. And he's using it successfully and doing remote recordings. And he was one of the first ones to jump on this. And he just reported to all of us like, this works, guys. This really works. We're not dead in the water. And I found that exciting because Cubase doesn't seem to get a lot of love in the industry. Do you know what I mean? I'm not trying to big it up or anything, but people are always like, Pro Tools, Logic, Ableton, all this kind of stuff, right? And then there's the gods from the heavens are telling us what to use, but then there's this software company that's already integrated this, and it's kind of like, oh, cool. Maybe I should have a Cubase system on my laptop just in case, right?
Mm-hmm.
But moving forward, let's just talk about the evil empire Avid. Hopefully they're not listening. Their usage of Pro Tools and collaborative software has been very handy especially this came out was when they came out with with version 12, with Pro Tools 12. And anybody who's familiar with Pro Tools is very, it's interesting. You have a percentage of people who know everything about it, and then a percentage of users of Pro Tools that go, really, you can do that? And I found that I was one of those guys when it first came out. I'm like, what is this project thing? What is this collaborative stuff? And it's kind of like you look at it and you go, what? Oh my God, I can't believe I've been doing this all wrong. I can't believe that I can't use this. And so I use the collaborative portion of Pro Tools now on a regular basis. It's almost silly how you don't. And at least that's my opinion. I do apologize if I'm offended anybody, but it's as simple as opening a project on the cloud. So woo, there goes your project. You simply upload that project, that session, save copy in as a project, and it goes boink onto your cloud account. And then you can email people to invite them to collaborate with you. And then they can upload that, and essentially you're all looking at the same session. So Aaron, you could be doing vocals. Leanne, you could be doing vocals. Jeff, you can lay down some drums. I could do some bass, and we could essentially be sharing the same session where, okay, Jeff, here's the click track and a guide track, do some drums. And so you would upload those and then boom, chuck, boom, chuck, boom, chuck, and then hit an upload button and it would come down into my session and all of our sessions. And we would hear Jeff's monstrosity of a drum track, right? And then, okay, cool, to give us some vocal, or I'll do a bass line, bumpity, 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 upload, and then we all get the bass line. It's kind of like, it's not instantaneous because we're all sitting there going like this, waiting for somebody to finish their overdub, and then they upload it. But when it comes down, you can then make the judgment, hey, this is great, but there's a mistake right here. Do you mind, you mind just fixing this section? Right? And I've done that with a client where I've actually highlighted the area, deleted it, and I say, I want you to punch in and fix that note right in there. Where there are gaps, I want you to play the parts that are supposed to be there because that's where I found boo-boos.
Awesome.
And, right? And so they would upload it and go, Darius, the whole thing is deleted.
The easiest way to describe it is just imagine all sharing a word perfect document.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
And that means you're going to be the same platform as your producer team or your artist. And so
Absolutely.
and that's but
well, I have,
you got time. Aaron, you got time. Go get Pro Tools and learn it. Because then that's easy for sharing. Literally is what Darius.
Well, and this gets even scarier because as I found myself, I'm a techie when it comes to this kind of stuff. I'm like my mom tells me stories when I was a little kid of how I was tweaking stuff in the house all the time. So it's kind of like I am techie by nature. So when this happened, I was kind of like, all right, Google, we're going hunting. And I found all kinds of different answers and stuff like this, including stuff that I didn't even realize existed years ago that I was using or people were using with me to do repairs. Enter a piece of software called TeamViewer. Has anybody in the panel heard of this thing? No. Okay, it's IT guys have been using this for decades. If there's anybody IT out there related, they're going like, really? That's cutting edge? No, this stuff has been around forever. I remember somebody years ago fixing a software glitch on an SSL console or automation or something I was working on, and they needed access to my computer. They were in LA and I was in Toronto, and they're kind of like, okay, well, download this software, here's this, copy this, paste this, so on and so forth. But next thing you know, they're taking control of my computer. I'm like, oh, what is this? And they're sitting there going click, 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 and you see things typing, going, everything's in the background, and I say, click, okay, you're all fixed, Darius. So like, I'm fixed, thank you very much. And so I found myself using TeamViewer to, ready for this, run Pro Tools sessions for people. Because it's remote access software. I could actually go in there right now and operate your DAWs for you. And so,
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, we to take this even one step further. Jeff said you can rent this stuff. Absolutely, you can. You have to have a good friend at your local Long McQuaid's, and because Long McQuaid's, this beautiful Canadian company, has stores everywhere across our beautiful country. It's really not hard for me. I've done this. I've sent my laptop out, got an interface, a microphone stand, everything, cables. I said, put a backline project, a backline thing for me together, and they shipped it to my artist. The artist opened up the laptop, so on and so forth. And the first thing we do over the Skype video is like, do this, hit button, log in, this is the password, so on and so forth. And they open up Pro Tools. I'm like, okay, let me open up this software, let me in. From there on, I'm operating their computer. And I'm like, okay, over video, set up the interface like this, plug this here, plug this here, plug this here, the mics here, so on and so forth. They're like, well, Darius, I'm not going to be able to run this session. I'm like, you're just playing guitar, bro.
Wow.
So, and so they're plugged in, they're ready, they have the song in front of them, and I'm Apple spacebar, Apple spacebar, Apple spacebar, and I'm running the session remotely, even though I'm not in the room. Again, the whole thing, I'm on this side of the glass, you're on that side of the glass. And so the technology, I mean, Aaron said, who knows where it's going to go further on? Yeah. You may find yourself with Jeff sending him his private jet with his studio in there, all to your parking it.
Didn't you see the light bulb go off over Jeff's head when you were talking about to deliver the audio on the Pro Tools computer? Bing!
You had enough of me, Jeff. Maybe single 10 will do that.
No, but maybe I'm a little bit too animated, a little bit too, up here, but it's kind of like, I find this technology exciting as far as being able to get the job done, where an artist, I would love artists to be more tech savvy, but they don't want to be, or they can't, and they're not, and it's not in their wheelhouse. And it's like, okay, that's great. That's why I'm not a singer, because I don't have a voice that works, right? So it's the point I'm trying to make is a simple software like TeamViewer allows for me to go in and use your software to fix your stuff, to get everything ready for you without even being there.
That's amazing. Yeah.
It's crazy. And you put that together with collaborative software. Like I've even told clients, well, I don't know how to use Pro Tools. It's okay. Go to the Avid website, download Pro Tools first. It's free. It'll allow us to get what we need done. Remember, Jeff, we talked about, everybody was saying this in the producer panel, like whatever it takes to get the job done. Well, here we are in this COVID pandemic, and a lot of people don't know what it takes to get the job done. And I'm hoping that by sharing some of this technology, some of these stories, that people are realizing, man, I'm missing out. I should go do something. And Jeff, your point about, to Aaron, go get Pro Tools, go learn Pro Tools. You got lots of time to learn.
He's been telling me, but I'm the artist that does, like, I'm just on GarageBand, or I have Apple Logic, but I mean, I still have Apple Logic on my computer. I still use GarageBand.
Fair to Aaron, what he's got set up works for us now. It's fine.
Yeah.
So whatever your production team is asking you to do, just follow. You'll make it work. It can be done. It doesn't have to be real time. It doesn't have to be TeamViewer. These are just a lot of great technology that you can incorporate to whatever comfort level you have. So,
agreed.
Artist, as a producer out there, if your artist is not going to get tech savvy, then you have to go the route that Darius is talking about. Like, then you take control. Here's the gear. Open it up. I got the rest from there. Just stand in front of the microphone and do your thing. So, but I mean, whatever it makes it easier for the team is probably the best thing. So,
agreed. And which I guess, sorry, Leanne, you were going to say?
Oh, I just said, yeah, I'm agreeing. Yeah.
Okay. And so to further Jeff's point, there's a question of which technology do we use? Which way do we use? We don't have to go, you don't have to go one particular way. You don't have to buy Cubase. You don't have to buy Avid products. You don't necessarily have to go buy or rent from Long McQuaid's or whatever, or any kind of music store. It should be a combination. It's kind of like you could be using a combination of softwares and hardware and methods to get the job done. And like Jeff said, it's perfect. Whatever is comfortable with your production team, artists, etc. I think that's probably that's our common denominator, is what works. And when we talk about what works, it talks about comfort level. I don't want to put an artist in a position where they have to start thinking technology, because then they stop being they stop being the artist.
Yes, that's what I meant earlier. I said the whole concept. When you're focused on this, then it's hard to be why we want to work with you in the first place.
Exactly.
Even the last single for Aaron, his wife Amy, amazing singer. She does a lot of the background stuff. So in this song, after he got that mic and it's like hearing her on there, it's like she's here.
Yeah.
So they got the gear together, and so we can get vocals done so she doesn't have to drive all the way here, and they can just do it at the comfort of their own home. We've set that up. Not every artist I work with is set up that way, but then it's almost like, but to be fair, there were a couple where it's like, won't mention any names, it's like they almost like didn't want to do it. And well, you gotta do this. It's like, well, how do I figure it out? Like, I can't be tech support for everybody.
Right.
For some things that can help you. One person I literally was going to I needed to get done. I bought a microphone, packaged it up. I was going to ship it.
Yep.
Just to get it done. But then it worked out fine because they could move, they could travel, and it was fine. But I'll do what I can to get it done. But I really plead with the artists out there, make it easier for your producers. So, and do a bit of research, find out what you can find out. You don't need to spend $1 million
No.
on this kind of stuff. So, and you just heard it. They've been using GarageBand. It's fine. It's still, you can still do 48, it's 24. It's fine. It's a DAW. It records in there. It's clean. It's great. Then you just have to have great mic pre and a good microphone. And what's the difference? It's a digital audio thing, and it's going to go on my session, and it's fine. So,
isn't that what Billie Eilish used? Were they using GarageBand? I think.
Probably. I've got lots of stories about GarageBand and hits that people wouldn't know were GarageBand.
Sure.
It's ironic how that software is related to so many great hits. Into, it reminds me of an adage we use in our business, that it's always the carpenter, never his tools. Right. And that means it's the person behind, like we say, it's the person behind the board, not the board, that makes everything sound great. And this is the truest statement in our industry, as much as technology can be fantastic, it always boils down to how good is the artist, how good is the producer, how good is the engineer, right? And so we still have the same challenges in that, obviously we have to interact with technology. However, when we have these kinds of setbacks such as COVID, a lot of people don't know some of the technology exists. So you end up with a bunch of carpenters who still want to make something, but don't know where to go. They've not heard of certain tools. And so I'm hoping that having this conversation allows for people to, hey, I didn't know that I could do this. And I've been sitting here doing nothing for no reason whatsoever.
Can I make this turn right really quick? Not into politics, but Leanne, do you have a guitar? You play mandolin and guitar, right? Do you
ukulele.
Really? Do you have one with you?
Close enough.
Aaron, do you have a guitar close to you? Just a simple change in technology that's really affordable and easy to get. I'm going to take this, and I'm not making fun of Leanne. I'm not making her feel shitty or anything. But I watched a few. So I'll wait till Leanne gets back. Give me 1 second. All right. Little experiment. So I'm not making anybody look bad here. This is just for the viewers.
Right.
So Aaron started a whole bunch, and the live stream stuff is very important for you artists to be out there. And there's tons of them. We all know that. We're all aware that they're out there. Okay. Humans in general will react to things a certain way. And so Aaron's first foray into the live streaming, I couldn't listen to it. Not because of him, not because of his talent. I just could not fucking listen to it because it sounded like I can't do this. I can't. And I think that would affect a lot of just normal people.
Right.
Integrating better gear and a quick, easy setup. Just okay, Leanne?
Yeah.
Okay, you're right there. Just play something real quick and sing. Normal.
Well, I wish there was a law that I could pray my soul to keep. Someone I could.
Good, right? Now, Aaron, do the same thing. Because Aaron used to he wasn't really doing anything outside of opening up and playing. You might do it differently, Leanne. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about other artists out there. Now play, Aaron.
You got a dog, I got a jukebox. Let's get it.
Which one would you rather listen to? for an hour stream of audio.
Yeah, it's no, hands down.
It's got nothing to do with Leanne's talent or Aaron's talent. It's just the sonic quality of it.
Yeah, for sure. And in my defense, I knew I wasn't singing, so I didn't set up my microphone through the interface.
No.
I wasn't talking about Leanne, because I know Leanne's feeds are different. I'm saying most of the artist feeds are like what Leanne set up like right now, which I know she doesn't normally do. And so and what would you pay for that mic, Aaron?
I think it was maybe $1,200 with taxes in it, I think.
And your interface is what, just a Focusrite something?
It's a channel Focusrite. What's that, like $399 or something?
Yeah, that's what I have too, the Focusrite.
Those are really great, by the way.
I know, they're amazing.
Yeah. What is the name of that mic too? Can you let us know that?
I posted somebody, one of the panelists, or sorry.
Warm Audio, it's a 251.
Yeah.
WA 251.
So there's so many great clone microphones out there that are like, this is a clone of literally a $10,000 to $20,000 microphone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty in the ballpark. And there's other ones like the U47, which is a popular vocal mic. There's several clones. Stam makes one. There's another company, Burns, I don't remember. Warm also makes them. They're fantastic. And so just changing your microphone and your mic to something clean and getting it out in front of you like Aaron did there, his podcast, like when he does live streams, it keeps people engaged longer. I guarantee you it does, because
sure,
shitty audio that you're streaming potentially for your live stuff is fucking annoying, and it actually takes away from how good you actually are. And so you want to kind of give as much, it's like you spend all that time and money in the studio to make your stuff sound great. Why are you going live and sounding like you are on a Skype call with your mom? It's like you need to be a little more professional that way. I'm not yelling at anybody.
Yeah.
You want to
you watch, sorry, Jeff.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, if you want to leg up even in the other side of the industry that Darius and I have nothing to do with, you're playing music for fans and you want to create fans and expand the fans. Well, take a minute and make sure your shit sounds good.
Yeah.
That's a rant, and I'm not trying to be mean, but literally just that little demonstration there. And again, it's not about Leanne, because she does it right. But a perfect example, she's in the chat. She's in a situation now I could show you what you're all doing,
right?
Versus what you could have for almost next to nothing. You go to, so we said less than $1,500. You go to Lana McQuaid. What's that a month, Darius? $20?
Yeah, that's nothing. It's peanuts. Nice.
You don't even need this. Just get yourself a Blue Spark. What's that? $300?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as it's a good, nice microphone and a good mic pre, and set it up away, and then sort of deaden your environment around you the best you can.
Yep.
That room tone, because that's what you're hearing in the compressed mics on your phones. And anyways, that's just some advice to you
nice.
Artists out there. Like if you're streaming, it's very important. And podcasts, like that's the other main thing I've learned about podcasts. Nobody wants to sit and listen for an hour and a half of somebody talking. It sounds like they're in a fucking toilet. It's annoying. And after a while, it starts to grate at you, and you go.
Unless the podcast is about that.
Exactly.
We don't judge. We don't judge.
We don't judge. But I mean, you owe it to your potential fans, either current fans or future fans, to deliver you at the best quality you possibly can at any given time.
Well, it gives you a leg up too, right? You look that much better off the bat.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you look at my live streams since COVID started, like I wasn't doing any live streaming at home. So it started out like just this, right? And then it progressed. I got the audio interface and I slowly started to learn how to use that, and I got a light. But every time I did it, there was like a problem that I had to like problem solve out. Like the new light I got has a hum. So if it's if I don't have it hooked up to the interface, it's humming. And then there was always something, right? Or I didn't turn the camera right and I'm sideways.
Right.
So it's been definitely a learning process, growing pains in front of an audience too, right? But luckily they've been forgiving with me.
Well, I think Jeff, thank you for sharing that. I think Jeff, you raise an interesting point, but for me, I see it from a different, from a different side, where the difference between Leanne and Aaron was intimacy, where one sounded more human than the other simply because technology was not in the way. And a lot of the times when we're in the studio, we're trying to make it so that technology isn't in the way. We want, you've heard transparency. We want, like, when you use that in a normal human environment, where you want it to be as honest as possible. But the whole idea of transparency in the studio is like, I don't want it to sound like it's coming from the speakers. I want it to sound like it's in the room with me. And so the difference between Leanne's performance and Aaron's performance is Aaron's was here with me and Leanne's was here with me. And that distance caused a psychological movement with me. It's kind of like, I'm not part of Leanne's project, but I am part of Aaron's project. And that intimacy really translates over this stupid technology, this camera, these microphones and all that stuff. It's nothing but plastic in front of me. I can't reach out and touch any of you. Like, I want to hug you, but I can't. And so Jeff's point about adding technology, that'll add the closeness, because I got goosebumps when you started singing, Aaron.
Wow, that's
because I heard real sound.
Wow.
Where, in Leanne's things, that was a cool thing that you did, but it was too distant for me to actually connect.
Wow.
It wasn't real, even though you are.
Yeah.
A great voice. So if it was, we had flipped it, then you would have said the same thing about Leanne versus Aaron.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You just take this microphone here, put it here, and then we're talking about Aaron being distant and Leanne being present. And the whole idea of presence is about intimacy for me. So it's kind of like, to Jeff's point, I don't see a reason why, other than if you really can't afford it, why an artist should not be equipping themselves to be productive in, especially because of COVID maybe, but moving forward. There's nothing, because there's one thing we haven't discussed, and that is how musicians have been empowered by all of this.
Hey, can I ask you, somebody, anonymous attendee asked a question. Can you ask anonymous attendee to kind of expand on that? I don't really know.
You and Jeff, have you told us to perform live because it's hurting? To not perform live because it's hurting them?
Well, maybe it's like you can make a good product on record, but online.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying I've actually told an artist ever, not to cut off what you were going to say, Darius, but I just want, that's been sitting there for a bit.
Yeah.
So, I don't think I've ever told an artist not to do it. I've certainly thought that some artists should not be doing it. I'm not going to tell them. If you're going to do it, you better rehearse. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But fortunately, most of my artists, all of them, anything I've seen live has been pretty good, other than the sonic quality sometimes. But there's a lot of not good live performances.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I don't know that I've ever told anybody not to do it. Like, no, you definitely should not be doing this. But what I've said to more than a few artists very recently is, why aren't you putting on a show for people?
Yes.
Like, shame on you. You're a great band, or you're a great artist, and you are just one technological click away from creating a good show. Why are you sitting in your living room and playing on your guitar? Why aren't you, or why are you not doing anything? I told a rock band, why are you doing nothing? When you can have Big Rex streaming directly from the Alma Combo doing a huge show to people, why aren't you doing this? If I was a rock star right now with a really good band, I'd be like, there's a lot of warehouses that need renters. There's a lot of places. We'll set up a stage, we'll get some cans, we'll get some lights, we'll get a PA system, and every Monday will be Darius and the Knuckleheads, and we'll put on one hell of a show and stream it live. Why aren't you? Shame on you for not doing it.
Remember Q107 simulcast?
Yes.
You guys are too young. Simulcast. Do you remember that name at all?
I do.
I had to watch the Who play in, I think it was, I don't know where it was, England, to the live audience, and I'm hearing it out of Q107 on my speakers. I watched it on TV. It was great.
Yeah.
So they broadcast, and then the radio broadcast the audio. It was great. So we're literally back to that.
Yes.
the next thing you're going to see is that, Keith Urban's going to put on a concert where you can put on the TV, but you can also stream it through your system. Now we have that anyways. This is all in one output of your Apple to your big speakers. And it's like you're at the concert kind of without the people.
Without the people. But the thing is, artists are saying, I can't put on any shows. And I'm like, that's not true. You might not be able to go to a big smoky club, or you might not be able to go to a big show and, in front of, at an arena, but that doesn't mean that you have to stop doing what you're doing. If you're like, I don't know, I just, if I had all my long hair back and I was 26 years younger, I think, you might be seeing more of me on the interwebs.
Yeah. Internet.
So the thing is, why can't we do that? Why,
all right, so
why are people stopped? And this is why I'm pushing this pandemic producer thing too, because it means a lot more than just being a producer in the pandemic. Why are people stopping what they do just because there's a sickness out there?
Yeah.
I'm still mixing, I'm still making music, I'm still doing everything that I can. And if I was a rock star, I'd still be rocking the internet.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
To answer the question that anonymous attendee online had was, I've never told an artist not to perform live, but often want to tell them to not perform live. And if you're going to perform live, just practice first.
Yeah.
Make sure it's tight, because people have they can't look past first impressions. And if you're having an off night, or you haven't practiced enough, then you just blew potentially 10 fans that would grow into 100 tomorrow and 1,000 next week. And so, if you're going to do that, make sure you do the woodshedding and be awesome, because there's just too many good artists out there that are doing that. They take the time to do it right. They get the right setup, the right microphone, everything. It sounds amazing. I want to watch that instead of that.
Add, sorry, Jeff, have a set list.
Yep.
Don't just start like, hey, what do you guys want to hear today? Like Metallica, but I'm playing banjo. So, it's like, have a set list, have a show put together, have something that is like, present something. Don't just show up and saying, hi, it's Darius with his bass,
And even if you do, you can still ask people, what do you want to hear? Because Aaron can go, oh, you want to hear, somebody wants to hear Superman, even though they didn't, because that's in his set list. Like, you can still make it feel like.
Yeah, you can. But I find that when you're seasoned as an artist, that's easier to accomplish. But when you're trying to do this for the first time, it's difficult. It's difficult. I mean, if I was, because I can see your faces, this is easier to do. It's easier to speak because I can look into the eyes of 3 other people. You take this away and I'm lost. I'm kind of like, now I feel like I'm schizophrenic, and now I feel like I'm just, and it's very difficult to do.
Leanne talked about her first time with the pod, how it's moved from start to finish. How about you, Aaron? What was your first one like?
My first live?
Yeah.
It was okay, but you guys make a good point that I think I've just been ignorant. I haven't looked at it as this is a show.
Yeah.
I just hop on and I go, hey, we're doing this today.
Yeah.
And it's I've been writing songs all week and I didn't pick up my guitar and practice my set. I just got on and went, it'll be fine. This isn't real. It's just,
Totally. I'm totally there.
Yeah, but you guys, it never occurred to me that I should be taking this as seriously as any show that I want to play, that I'm going to play, that I want to make an impression.
To be honest, by the way, I wasn't talking about either of you when I was
right. No,
but a light bulb went on and I thought, I really haven't put the work into it.
Right.
When we were doing it weekly, it was cool because we were doing it every week and I wouldn't screw up that much. I screw up every show I play probably though. But I mean, now
Me too.
now I'm thinking about it as in terms as there is an audience out there. What is the difference that the audience is on the computer or it's in a club? Why am I not taking this as serious because I've played clubs to 2 people.
Yeah.
Here, I've always had more than 2 people. What am I doing? Why do I think of that?
I used to say, if you're afraid of speaking in public, just imagine the audience is naked or in their underwear. There's a good chance 50% actually are now. So
Right.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
98% of your audience isn't wearing pants.
Including Jeff right now.
really drunk. It's like the best bar ever.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so to take the comedy, like, yeah, but you are trying to be professionals. Everybody out there listening, artists, if you want to be professional, be professional.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing enough of that when I see the live stream. So to answer your question, Deep Anonymous, I've not told them not to, but I want to tell them. I've told artists how to make it better. How about that?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, because we shouldn't be in a situation of telling somebody that they shouldn't be doing something. But if we have a way of teaching them or showing them or educating them on a way of doing it, of actually maximizing the potential on something, I use that as my way of inserting myself into a situation. Like, yeah, do it, but do it right, please. You know, put a big backdrop behind you, like in your garage, and set up the drums and set up everything else and plug in, even rent a couple of mics to make it look fake. We'll pre-record something, just rock it out like a rock video and make it a show.
That's what I bought this thing for. And we're 6 months into the pandemic and I just thought of doing this.
Right.
Now I'm going to
picture yourself, Aaron. Now picture yourself with a full production behind you. I'm sure there's a club somewhere that's dead right now.
Yeah.
Picture a show where you're up on stage with you and your band, keeping social distancing, and there's a PA cranking, there's a light show, and there's one camera. Oh no, there's actually a whole bunch of cameras, and that are streaming down one internet connection to here, my laptop.
Wow.
Think about that. And you could be putting on one heck of a show.
You're right. Yeah. And nobody's doing that.
Well, people are.
Some are.
Well, I think Springsteen did it, or Eric Church or something.
What's the Metallica show that they were doing, the drive-in series and the whole 9 years? Like, there's a whole bunch of people that are doing this kind of stuff. And when obviously you read through social media and you see Big Rec is doing stuff through the El Macombo. The El Macombo, you guys know, has been rebuilt, so on and so forth. They have a world-class studio in there that's now utilizing the connection. We've got a stage in front of us. Mm-hmm. Let's put an artist up there and let's broadcast them.
Yep.
Not a new technology. Again, going back to what's old is new again. There have been people who've been doing simulcasts live to like media streams from shows. Like I remember even at, it doesn't matter which bar, you show up to some bars and it's like, I think at the Drake, I saw something like that during a CMW where they were streaming everything that was on stage live. So you can sit there on your iPhone, even back like 10 years ago, go, hey man, check this out. It's a little glitchy, but it's there. Mm-hmm. And it's possible to do. Yeah. You just up your game on it. That's all.
Yeah.
So,
well,
excellent question. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll say this: either go big or go home.
Yep. Hey, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Always what we like. You as artists, like you want us to do, make it sound the best we can make it sound. Make you sound the best you can sound. Labels asked me to make it sound the best I can make it sound, and so on and so forth. So why all of a sudden does everything sound like shit?
Yeah.
Fix it. I mean, that's going to hurt you more than it's going to hurt me.
Yeah.
Enough about that topic.
Fair enough. Done.
I learned something valuable today. That's for sure.
Yes.
I'm hitting Long and McQuaid website right after we end this.
Sponsored by Long and McQuaid.
Once you perfect the whole live thing and up your game even more, then you can start doing a podcast where people could, Patreon to learn how to do what you did.
Yeah.
So there's other revenue streams that you guys, if you capitalize on the technology and do it right in new different ways, then you can literally, lead the pack, and that's revenue. We got to make money.
Yeah.
But even if you have successful streaming all the time, like maybe sponsors will start coming to you too. So it is a new model I don't think it's ever going to go away. Even if this pandemic does, this ain't going away.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, you're right.
So why not get it to the best you can possibly make it? And so in a year from now, Leanne's done the Long McQuaid thing. It said, fuck, this is sounding great. And in a year from now, she's got an actual real U-47 with a 1176 and fine. Like you can up your game even more and more and more as you go. And it's like, then then you're always out of the reach of people, kind of a thing. So you kind of want to be the king of the planet if you can, or the queen. So why
Right.
not start now? You got lots of time, and I think the really good ones are going to continue to exist even after the if and when it opens up. So
Okay.
Awesome. Great tips.
Yeah. So I'm going to wrap this up very shortly, but I'd like to maybe summarize by a little bit, if I may. So um, one of my biggest visions moving forward is that um, this is an age for the pioneer to be born. We're in a time right now where the things have stopped, and how we work normally, how we live normally has stopped. And so that has created, let's just say, two different types of people and or methods. We'll stop and wait, or no, I'm moving forward. And for some of us, moving forward is a necessity. And for some of us, we can afford to sit still and do nothing. And that's also started two different mentalities. I'm waiting for it to get back to normal, and there is no new normal. And so that's pretty much global in every industry because of this pandemic. But when it comes to the music industry, I think, Jeff, you and I were talking about this. Entertainment has been probably the most valuable thing during every world war, during every catastrophe, during every world problem, and during this pandemic. Musicians and music entertainment has always risen.
blossomed, yes.
Yes, it's risen and blossomed during those times. Why? Because Jeff's right. We are the weeds in the concrete. Well, we're not going to stop. And so the question is, some people, I know that some of my colleagues have stopped. They're like, you know what, I'm good. I'm just not going to wait for this to be done. And then I'll go back to making records like I used to. Okay. And some people like me are like, no, I'm moving forward. I'm embracing this technology, and I'm going to use this, and I'm going to do this. And the same as with musicians. There are some musicians who are continuously making music now, and some that have stopped to wait. And so my question is, my own rhetorical question is, why does that happen? Why does this pandemic cause us to freeze, to evaluate things in a non-rational way? Why are we choosing to stop instead of move forward? Why are we allowing technology, or more precisely, the lack of knowledge about technology, our own ignorance, to stop us in our tracks? Why are people not researching more? Why are not people reaching out for help more? Right? If I have a problem, I reach out, say, hey, Jeff, I can't figure this out. Help me.
I think it's all personality. It depends on your personality, and it depends on how you're grieving the loss of your old normal. Because some people are in different phases of the grieving cycle, and they just can't get out of it to focus on moving forward because they haven't accepted it yet.
Excellent.
And then some people, like introvert versus extrovert, right? Extrovert, I'm a super extrovert. So at first, like the first week and a half, 2 weeks was like a slow death for me until I like accepted the new normal and bursted through that concrete.
Yeah.
But introverts are like, oh yeah, just gonna sit here and watch some Netflix and maybe do some writing, but just really soak up the rest and regroup and then come back out running.
Yeah.
I think that pretty much sums it up. I don't know.
Yeah.
The psychology part of it. Sorry.
Somebody just commented there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep an eye on, try to help Darius out here. I like a question that this more. Did you see that one from Scotty? Darius about
the comment. Yeah.
But no.
What?
I see young artist.
H freight.
No, I don't have any.
That one. Yeah. Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, because I don't have an update here. Sorry.
Q&A.
Yeah, I have it open. I have 3 open.
This boy. Okay. Anyway, Aaron and Leanne, what do you suggest or have for advice to the young artists looking to jump into the live streaming but may have stage fright? Do you guys see that question up there?
Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, I see it now. Yeah.
Well, you could just start by streaming a video that, like, shoot yourself doing a video and then watch it back and then learn from what you don't like seeing that you're doing, and then keep practicing, right? Stage fright, it's only going to get easier the more times you do it. And basically the thought process is, if you're afraid of something, you're expecting a bad outcome. And if you're excited about something, you're expecting a positive outcome. So it's about flipping the mindset a little bit, I think.
Aaron, you got it?
Yeah, that's great. I would say, you know what? I've been doing this over 20 years now. And Jeff, remember the CCMA after party there? I don't think I told you, but I was so scared to play that I just wanted to run. And I get that. I still get stage fright all the time, that I just want to run, and just don't run. You got to get on that stage. You got to do it. And if I would have ran that night, man, would I be kicking myself in the butt, because it was one of the greatest nights I've ever had on a stage. So just never run. Just always get up there. And, I was missing my daughter's birthday. My daughter's first birthday was the next day, and we were down in Calgary. And before I went on the stage that night, I looked at the picture on the phone and I said, "You're missing your daughter's birthday. Get the fuck up there and quit being an asshole and just rock. Get out of your mind and just rock." I seriously did that. And it went pretty well. It was a lot of fun, but that's what I had to do, because, at the end of the day, I'm always going to screw up. But when I come home, my wife and kids are still going to love me. I don't care what anybody else thinks. If they go, "Oh, he screwed up, he sucks," I don't care. My wife and kids are always going to go, "Great job, Dad," no matter how bad it is. I hope that everybody loves it, but I can't please everybody all the time. So just don't let that get in your way.
Right. I think, if I may add, I'm a musician, but I used to do the live gigs a long time ago. I've always suffered from stage fright. There wasn't one gig where I was kind of like, "Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man," and the lights hit and it's Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. All of a sudden I turn into this, this idiot that's running around stage now with swinging his bass and his hair like a Wasp concert. And it's, you get over it. And then the next night we're at a new town and you get up on stage like, "Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, lights." And so this is not new. You can probably talk to a list of rock stars who are like this before they go on stage, and then all of a sudden the lights go out and they're like, and they're Superman. And so it's like, I don't think that's a phenomena that happens to every musician, whether it's 2 people in front of your stage, 1,000, 5,000, 50,000, or 2 people on your live stream. I think that's just the 3, 2, 1, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, and you're live. That happens to everybody. That's normal.
Yeah. I blank out my lines of my songs right before, and I'll just be like, "How does this start?" And then the note comes, and you're just like,
"What's the first note?"
Friend played with Bad Company. It was Bad Company. Tour with them, and he told me, like, there was stadium stuff, and he's like, he threw up every night before going on stage. Like, it was that bad. But anyways, I was going to add one thing. Okay, so we talked about how it's normal. So if you feel that it's normal, don't worry about it. I would say, do your first couple live streams with somebody else with you.
Yeah.
Get a friend to come over and play guitar with you.
Yeah.
So you feel so alone on your couch. Social distance, unless they're in your bubble already, which you might probably be living with somebody that's in your band or whatever. So just do it with somebody else, and then eventually you'll fly on your own, little bird. I promise, you'll fly on your own. So
if I could add to that, record. Don't even go live first. Record it first.
Oh, that's what Leanne said. Yeah, just watch.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Just put your iPhone in front of you and do your thing, and then watch it back and see how you look. You'd be surprised when you're like, "Oh my God, I left my dirty socks on my speakers," or like, "I haven't staged this right. I should probably wear a better color. Oh my God, I look hideous in this," or this. You get over a whole bunch of other stuff, and then the stress level would go down. I don't do live streaming as far as music is concerned, but if I'm doing a lecture of some sort at a school or something, I make sure that my background, my surroundings are free of debris and free of things. And I remember the first time I gave a lecture online, I actually practiced it into my iPhone first to just see what am I doing here? How do I look? Like, stop touching your face. Like, don't lick your lips. Don't pick your nose. Like, there's certain things where we take for granted. Like, you know, you go scratching your ear and stuff like this, and that just doesn't look cool, right? Or dress up, or don't dress up. Whatever it is your shtick is. But practice it first, and then go live when you're ready.
Anyways, did you have any other questions, Darius? Sorry, I was just
No, I think we've covered it all today. I'd like to thank all of my panelists for coming out and joining us. Jeff, Aaron, and Leanne, you guys were wonderful to talk to. Please check these people out. They're great musicians, great artists, and great producers, and great music makers all together. And try not to be afraid of what happens in this pandemic. Go out there and move forward, one foot in front of the other, and make sure that you're being honest to yourself. And if you are the wheat in the concrete, you will shine. I promise you that. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
All right.
Awesome.
Everybody, hands up. Thank you so much. All right. Cheers. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Good luck.